Now, Ben, the thing you are known best for in the KSCO community is the work you have done filling in for Doc Wallet on
using
occasion.
nutrition to heal the body.
Let's talk about that a little. First of all, talk to me about your background.
Well, I'm a pharmacist by trade, but in pharmacy school, one of the things pharmacists study that a lot of people don't realize that pharmacists study is we study a lot about nutrition, but we don't study nutrition the way a dietitian studies nutrition or the way a nutritionist studies nutrition. We study the medicinal properties of nutrients, how vitamin A and vitamin E and selenium and zinc are actually medicinal. They have medicinal properties, and conversely, we study diseases as they are nutritional deficiencies. In fact, if you backtrack any disease state, whether it's asthma or Parkinson's disease or diabetes, far enough, you will find somewhere at the core some kind of nutritional or digestive condition. And so as a pharmacy student, it made sense to me to, instead of focusing on using drugs, which are literally poisons, to try to heal the body, it never made sense to me I never understood why we were using poisons to heal the body. I thought, well, gosh, if it's really nutritional deficiencies that are causing our diseases, and nutrients are medicines and drugs are poisons, why don't we focus on nutrition, which is what I ended up doing in pharmacy school. I made nutrition my primary focus, and when I graduated pharmacy school, I had a lot of information under my belt about nutrition, about the medicinal properties of nutrients, and about disease states as nutritional deficiencies and how to heal so-called disease states using nutrients. And so what I tell folks today is your disease, the signs, the symptoms of your disease state are really your friends announcing to you there's a biochemical dysfunction underneath that can be corrected. So you have high blood pressure, you have asthma, you have diabetes. The diabetes really isn't the problem. The problem is the underlying biochemical dysfunction that's causing the diabetes. So if you correct the biochemical dysfunction nutritionally, at the nutritional level, you don't have to worry about the diabetes.
Okay, now help me understand a few things. Number one, we have diseases that are clearly based in genetics.
No, not true. That's another falsity. Today we know there's something called epigenetics. Have you heard of the term epigenetics?
No.
Okay. Well, epigenetics is something nobody talks about, but it's well known in the genetic community. It's been known about since they discovered the genome. The human genome was discovered, was finally put to, the Human Genome Project was put to bed about 10, 15 years ago, and they realized that while there's some 200,000 different proteins in your body, there's only about 30,000 genes. And they were shocked when they found that out. They were expecting to find a gene for every protein. Well, it didn't turn out that way, because it turns out that there are protein complexes that are supersedent to your genetics, and they surround your genetics. And these protein complexes turn your genes on and off. And the protein complexes are referred to as epigenes, epi meaning superior to. And these epigenes are controlled through, get ready for this, David, you ready? They're controlled through your mind, and they're controlled through your feelings, and they're controlled through your food.
My name is Bruce Lipton, and I'm a former research scientist. My history was based on cloning stem cells. A lot of people think stem cells are a new understanding in science, but I was cloning stem cells 43 years ago in 1967. And through my research, I found a different path in understanding medicine and health with a different view on genetics, which is now called epigenetics, the new science. In school, most people learn the science of genetics, which is the belief that genes control our traits. This science is really based on the fact that we get our genes from our mother and father at the moment of conception, and that these genes at that moment of conception actually will determine the rest of our lives in regard to our physical, emotional, and behavioral characteristics. A new science is called epigenetics. And epigenetics is an understanding that genes are not self-actualizing, meaning genes do not turn on and off. Genes are just blueprints. And the significance of that is that in order to engage a blueprint, it's not the blueprint's activity, it's the contractor's activity, the one who reads the blueprint that controls the blueprint. So in epigenetics, it's a science of how environmental information selects the genes and can modify the readout of the genes. And this becomes very significant because in genetic control, the old story, we are victims of our genetics. And the new story, epigenetics, because we can change the readout of the genes, we can then become masters of our genetic. And this becomes important because we actually control our health with our beliefs, our perceptions, and our attitudes about life.